But there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix. Do you want to know what it is?
Hey, thanks for joining. So what we're looking at here is these ancient obelisk statues that are all around the world. We see one here in Paris, and what they represent is where this ark has travelled around and conquered via war. So I want to point out the connection to the New World Order and these statues. So outside the Vatican here we have one, and in the middle of a Union Jack, that double X pointing. Those arrows are pointing into the center. That's the Holy Grail, the rabbit's hole. You see the Vesca Pisces shape around the Vatican, that C. Take note of that, we'll get to that later. Here we've got a transgender Jesus thing going on here. That's actually an obelisk overlooking Rio, where they got the poor people to pay for this statue, the Roman Catholic Church, and they paid everything they had because they were so desperate. Really disgusting. So you got male on the left here, that triangle facing upwards, the sun atom, and you got Eve, the moon, facing downwards. And here you got a woman holding the flame, the male sign. So she's transgender, same thing as that Jesus statue. That's another obelisk. It's not about the divine feminine, that's about war. So we're in the iron and clay times, that's the end times apparently. You can see the falls from Babylon to Rome and so on. So these obelisks have something to do with this pattern that's going on. So we can see here in Rome, they had a big fall, they've got lots of obelisks there, and they were doing brutal gladiator stuff just before the fall of their empire. And as we've seen before, in Europe, like Paris and London, these obelisks are already there. And then when you got these three flags, Canada, USA and Mexico, they're going to join a borderless, like a United Nations type thing, and they're going to have their own currency called the Amero, which will affect everything, the dollar. Everywhere in the world will be affected by this Amero. People don't know it yet, but it's huge. So what I've done is I looked up this money, and this is what I've seen. You see in the bottom note, top left corner, that C shape, which is the side of the Vatican that we've seen. That obelisk, that little line is blocking the light that is meant to be going into the top of that dome through that hole. If you look closely, there's that devil character doing the as above sign, but his hand's on his leg with his other arm, so he's not doing as below. And there's two of them, so that's two penises up, two male organs up, instead of a divinity male and female. So you can see that light's trying to bend in the top of the dome, and here again we see God's light trying to bend into the top of the dome. That's the divine, the other half, that they're clearly showing that they're blocking from you. And you see that other sun inside the dome, so there's two suns, and one's on the Jesus Lucy loop. Lucifer being the moon. Here we got A, an A at the end of the barcode. You got the number 2 in the bottom corner, and the big A that's in that circle, so that's two A's, two penises up. She's got two balls behind her. Clearly the transgender thing going on, confused. See here, she's sitting on the box, the Liberty flag, which is a military flag, not a civil flag. And they've got these military flags at schools and everywhere. You see the two crosses just there behind her. She's holding the flame again in the right hand, and in the left hand, arguably that could be a penis-shaped thing, coincidentally, in that area where she's holding it. In the eagle, you see two crosses in the claws, the twigs crossing and the lightning bolts crossing, and you got the 2 and the A again, so 2 A's up. On the left, you got the light bending again, like the previous pictures were showing. God's bending the light around the tree of life. On the right, you've got this money tree, and the fellow grabbing the money has got a parasitic worm wrapped around him. Make no mistake about that, a parasitic worm. Check out my last video, I'll go into detail about those. And you see the giant under the tree. Really interesting stuff here. I just seen this stuff straight away and decided to make the video. So these compasses all pointing inwards towards this Vatican's hole, this rabbit hole, which is blocked by an obelisk. Here you've got the two A's again on either side of the claw of this eagle, and the straight lines that run through it are masculine lines because women are curvy. As you can see, all the masculine lines here on the left, and you see she's holding the globe Earth above the sun, as we do every night time, because we believe the Earth's a sphere. So she's putting herself above God, like we've seen in that diagram, God being the sun, and the same symbolism of these little crosses, and she's holding that pole again. And that's what happens, you end up with two penises. You're not divine, you're not parallel or polarity. Here you got XY being the man, XX being the woman. In between that eagle and that claw back there, they had the two X's in between the claws, so they're showing you they've taken that away. Here you've got the Y chromosome in the middle of the zodiac calendar, which means X marks the spot, XY the father. You go through the sun, through the middle of the zodiac calendar, where those Vatican arrows are pointing. It's clear. You got the four corners, the zodiacs. You got that sun in the middle. So that's your number 13. That's your rebirth and regeneration. Is when you touch the other side there. You got the 12 zodiacs, and then you're the 13. Here again, this picture from Genesis or somewhere in the Bible. You got the four corners, and you got this light bending at the top. That's the main thing. You see that light bending at the top again. United Nations flag, same sign outside the Vatican. Those arrows pointing into the center, where compasses point north, but the polarity flips. So it's south and it's inside. You've got to turn your heart inside out and come one with your dragon fire, your soul. Find your other half, your divinity, whatever you want to call it. I've found mine. A lot of us have found ours. I'm doing the best I can to explain this crystal clear. Subscribe for more videos. Leave some comments. Ask some questions. Hope you're looking after yourself. Hope you're staying alkaline. Getting your lemon honey water into your mother's goodness. Keep them parasites away.